Have you ever swiped your credit card and wondered what actually just happened in those few seconds between the beep and the approval message on the screen? Most people use credit cards every single week, some every single day, yet very few truly understand how they work, how companies make money from them, and why they can either build your financial future or quietly destroy it. So today on SharingNet Invests, we're going to break it all down in a way that makes sense, using real data and real-life examples that apply to almost everyone in the United States. Let me start with something that might surprise you. According to recent data from the Federal Reserve, total credit card balances in the United States have crossed $1 trillion. That is not million, that is trillion. And average interest rates on credit cards have recently hovered around or above 20%. So here's the real question. If credit cards charge such high interest, why do more than 180 million Americans still have at least one credit card? Why are banks aggressively marketing them? And why do some people swear by them, while others warn you to avoid them at all costs? To answer that, we first need to understand how a credit card actually works at its core. When you use a credit card, you are not spending your money. You are borrowing the bank money. The bank pays the merchant on your behalf, and you promise to pay the bank back later. That is the basic idea. But what makes it powerful is the structure behind that simple promise. Every credit card comes with a credit limit. That is the maximum amount the bank is willing to lend you at any given time. That limit is based on your credit history, income, and other financial factors. If you have a strong credit score and steady income, you may have a higher limit. If you are just starting out, your limit may be lower. Now here is something interesting. The credit limit is not just about spending power. It also affects your credit score. But I will explain that in more detail later because it might change how you use your card from today onward. Each month, your credit card company issues a statement. This statement shows all the purchases you made during the billing cycle, usually about 30 days. It also shows your statement balance, your minimum payment, and your due date. Now here is where many people either win or lose financially. If you pay your full statement balance by the due date, you usually avoid paying any interest. That period between the purchase date and the due date is called the grace period. During this time, you are essentially borrowing money for free. This is one of the biggest advantages of credit cards, and yet many people do not fully use it to their advantage. They carry balances and end up paying high interest instead. Now let me ask you something. What do you think happens if you only pay the minimum payment? It sounds manageable. It sounds affordable. But here is the catch. If you only pay the minimum, the remaining balance starts accruing interest. And with interest rates often above 20%, that balance can grow quickly. Let us say you have a $2,000 balance at 20% interest, and you only make minimum payments. It could take years to pay off, and you could end up paying hundreds or even thousands in interest alone. That is how credit card companies make a significant portion of their profits. Not from responsible users who pay in full every month, but from those who carry balances. But that is not the only way they make money. Every time you swipe your card, the merchant pays a small transaction fee to the card network and issuing bank. This is called an interchange fee. It usually ranges from about 1.5% to 3% of the purchase. So even if you pay your balance in full and never pay interest, the credit card companies are still earning money from your activity. Now here is another curiosity question. If credit card companies make money from transaction fees and interest, why do they offer rewards like cash back, travel points, and sign-up bonuses worth hundreds of dollars? It almost sounds too good to be true. The answer lies in consumer behavior. Credit card data shows that people tend to spend more when using a credit card compared to cash or debit. The psychological effect of not seeing money leave your bank account immediately makes spending feel less painful. That increased spending generates more interchange fees and potentially more interest revenue. In other words, rewards are incentives to keep you using the card frequently. Now let us talk about the advantages in a clear and practical way. One of the biggest advantages of credit cards is convenience. You do not need to carry large amounts of cash. You can make purchases online, book flights, reserve hotels, and handle emergencies without waiting for funds to transfer. In a country as large and fast-paced as the United States, that convenience matters. Another major advantage is fraud protection. Under federal law, your liability for unauthorized credit card charges is limited. In many cases, it is zero. If someone steals your debit card and drains your checking account, your actual money is gone while the issue is being investigated. But with a credit card, It is the bank money on the line, not yours. That difference can be huge during a financial emergency. Credit cards also help build your credit history. Your payment history, credit utilization, and account age all factor into your credit score. A higher credit score can qualify you for better mortgage rates, lower auto loan rates, and even better insurance premiums. According to FICO data, payment history makes up the largest portion of your credit score calculation. That means simply paying your credit card bill on time every month can significantly impact your financial future. Now here is something many young adults do not realize. If you avoid credit completely, you may struggle to qualify for major loans later. Lenders want to see a track record of responsible borrowing. A credit card, used wisely, is often the easiest way to build that track record. But before you get too excited about the benefits, there is another side of this story, and it is a serious one. Credit card debt can snowball quickly. Because minimum payments are relatively small compared to the total balance, it can create a false sense of control. You might think you are managing fine because you are not missing payments. But interest compounds month after month. Recent consumer reports show that a significant percentage of credit card holders carry balances from month to month. That means millions of Americans are paying high interest rates consistently. When inflation rises and living costs increase, credit cards often become a short-term solution for long-term financial gaps. And that is where the risk grows. Let me ask you another question. Have you ever bought something on a credit card that you would not have purchased if you had to pay cash immediately? Be honest with yourself. That psychological gap is one of the hidden disadvantages of credit cards. They can disconnect spending from consequence. Now let us go deeper, because this is where credit cards stop being simple plastic and start becoming powerful financial tools or dangerous financial traps, depending on how you use them. Let me ask you something before we continue. Do you know your credit utilization ratio right now? Not your credit score, your utilization ratio. Most people do not. And yet it can significantly influence your credit score within weeks. Credit utilization simply means how much of your available credit you are using. If you have a total credit limit of $10,000 across all your cards and you are carrying a balance of $3,000, your utilization ratio is 30%. According to credit scoring models, keeping your utilization below 30% is generally considered good. Below 10% is even better. Here is why this matters. Even if you pay on time every single month, high utilization can lower your credit score. Lenders see high utilization as a sign of potential risk. So imagine this scenario. You charge $5,000 on a card with a $5,000 limit. Even if you plan to pay it off next month, your utilization is at 100% until the balance is reported. That can temporarily lower your score. Now here is a curiosity question. What if I told you that you could improve your credit score without paying off all your debt immediately? One strategy is making multiple payments within a billing cycle so that the reported balance stays low. Another is asking for a credit limit increase without increasing spending. Both strategies can lower your utilization ratio and potentially boost your score over time, but only if you are disciplined. Let us now talk about rewards in more detail, because this is where many viewers get excited. Cashback cards typically offer 1 to 2% back on purchases, sometimes more in specific categories like groceries or gas. Travel cards offer points or miles that can be redeemed for flights and hotels. Some cards offer large sign-up bonuses if you spend a certain amount within the first few months. Sounds amazing, right? But here is the question you need to ask yourself. Are you spending more just to earn rewards? If you spend $2,000 to earn $40 in cash back, that is fine if those purchases were necessary. But if you spend $2,500 instead of $2,000 just to chase rewards, you have lost money. Credit card companies understand this psychology very well. They design reward systems to encourage higher spending frequency. Another thing to consider is annual fees. Some premium credit cards charge annual fees that can exceed $100 or even several $100s. In return, they offer travel perks, lounge access, and enhanced rewards. The key question is this: are you actually using those benefits enough to justify the fee? If not, the math does not work in your favor. Now let us shift to disadvantages that people often underestimate. Interest rates on credit cards are typically variable. That means when the Federal Reserve raises interest rates, credit card interest rates often increase as well. Over the past few years, as interest rates have risen in response to inflation, credit card rates have followed. That means carrying a balance today is more expensive than it was several years ago. Late payments are another serious issue. If you miss a payment, you can face late fees, penalty interest rates, and negative marks on your credit report. Payment history is the largest factor in your credit score calculation. Even one missed payment can stay on your credit report for years. Is one forgotten due date worth potentially paying thousands more in interest on future loans? That is a question every cardholder should think about. And here is something many people do not talk about. Credit cards can create lifestyle inflation. As your credit limit increases, you might feel wealthier than you actually are. You might justify upgrades, vacations, or purchases that stretch your budget. The line between convenience and overextension can become very thin. Let me ask you this. Have you ever opened a credit card for the sign-up bonus and then forgotten to manage it carefully afterward? That is another hidden risk. Multiple open accounts can increase your total available credit, which can help utilization, but too many applications in a short period can lower your score temporarily due to hard inquiries. So how do you use credit cards wisely instead of falling into these traps? First, always aim to pay your full statement balance every month. Not the minimum, not most of it, the full statement balance. This keeps you in the grace period and avoids interest entirely. Second, automate your payments. Set up automatic payments for at least the minimum amount due to avoid late fees. Ideally, automate the full statement balance if your cash flow allows. Third, treat your credit card like a debit card. Only spend money that you already have in your bank account. If you cannot afford to pay it off today, reconsider the purchase. Fourth, monitor your spending weekly. Many credit card apps categorize your spending automatically. Reviewing this data regularly can prevent surprises at the end of the month. Fifth, understand your card terms. Know your interest rate. Know your due date. Know your reward structure. Financial literacy is one of the strongest defenses against debt traps. Now here is a big question that many viewers are probably wondering. Should you even have a credit card at all? For most responsible adults in the United States, the answer is yes, but with discipline. Building credit is essential for major life milestones such as buying a home. Renting an apartment often requires a credit check. Even some employers check credit reports. In that context, having no credit history can be almost as limiting as having bad credit. However, if you struggle with impulse spending or have difficulty sticking to a budget, it may be wise to focus on building financial habits first before relying heavily on credit. Here is something powerful to think about. Credit cards amplify behavior. If you are disciplined, they amplify rewards and credit growth. If you are careless, they amplify debt and stress. The card itself is neutral. The outcome depends on the user. Now, let me leave you with one more curiosity question. Imagine if you redirected all the interest you would have paid on credit card debt into investments instead. Over 10 or 20 years, how much could that compound into? That is the real opportunity cost of misusing credit. All right, let us bring this home in a way that changes how you look at credit cards from this point forward. By now, you understand that a credit card is not free money. It is a short-term loan wrapped in convenience, rewards, and opportunity. It can be one of the most powerful financial tools available to everyday Americans, or it can quietly become one of the most expensive mistakes. So let us clearly lay out the advantages again, but this time through a practical lens. Credit cards provide convenience in a digital economy. From online shopping to booking travel to handling emergencies, they allow you to transact instantly without waiting for funds to clear. In a country where speed matters, that convenience has real value. They offer fraud protection that is stronger than most debit cards. If someone makes unauthorized purchases, you are not immediately losing your own cash while the bank investigates. That layer of protection can prevent a temporary inconvenience from becoming a financial crisis. They help build your credit history, which influences mortgage rates, car loan approvals, apartment applications, and sometimes even job opportunities. A strong credit profile can save you tens of thousands of dollars over a lifetime in lower interest payments. They can generate rewards, cash back, travel points, purchase protections, extended warranties. For disciplined users who pay their balance in full every month, these benefits can be meaningful. Some households earn hundreds of dollars per year in cash back simply by routing regular expenses through their credit cards responsibly. And perhaps one of the biggest hidden advantages is liquidity. In an emergency, a credit card can provide immediate access to funds while you arrange other financial resources. That flexibility can be valuable in unexpected situations. Now let us look at the disadvantages with equal honesty. High interest rates can turn small balances into long-term debt. With average credit card rates often exceeding 20%, carrying a balance is expensive. Interest compounds, and compounding does not care about your intentions. Minimum payments create the illusion of control while extending repayment timelines dramatically. Paying the minimum might keep your account in good standing, but it often keeps you in debt far longer than expected. Credit cards can encourage overspending. Because you are not physically handing over cash, purchases can feel less real. That psychological gap can slowly push spending beyond your income. Late payments can damage your credit score for years. One missed due to date can increase future borrowing costs significantly. And those higher costs can affect everything from auto loans to mortgages. And finally, credit cards can create lifestyle inflation. As your credit limit increases, you may subconsciously raise your spending standards instead of building savings or investments. So here is the balanced truth. Credit cards are neither good nor bad. They are amplifiers. They amplify discipline. They amplify mistakes. They amplify habits. Now let me ask you a question that I want you to think about seriously. If your credit card company removed your credit limit tomorrow, would your lifestyle still function smoothly? Or would it expose a gap between your income and your spending? That answer reveals whether you are using credit strategically or relying on it. Here is a simple action plan you can start today. First, check your current balances and interest rates. Awareness is the foundation of control. Second, calculate your utilization ratio. Aim to keep it below 30% and ideally below 10% if possible. Third, set up automatic payments for the full statement balance if your budget allows. If you are carrying debt, focus on paying more than the minimum and consider a structured payoff plan. Fourth, choose your cards intentionally. If you are paying an annual fee, make sure the benefits outweigh the cost. If you are chasing rewards, ensure you are not increasing spending just to earn points. Fifth, build an emergency fund so that your credit card does not become your first line of defense during financial stress. Here is the bigger perspective. In the United States, credit is woven into the financial system. Avoiding it entirely can limit opportunities, but mismanaging it can create long-term consequences. The key is understanding the rules before you play the game. And this is why financial education matters. Because once you understand how credit cards really work, the mystery disappears. You stop fearing them blindly. You stop trusting them blindly. You start managing them intentionally. Imagine being in complete control, using your credit card for everyday purchases, paying it off in full every month, earning rewards, building your credit score, never paying interest. That is not luck. That is strategy. Now imagine the opposite. Carrying balances, paying high interest, feeling stress each month when the statement arrives, watching debt linger longer than expected. That is also not luck. That is the result of small habits repeated over time. So which path are you on right now? If this video helped you understand something new about how credit cards work, their advantages, and their disadvantages, then you are already ahead of millions of people who swipe without thinking. On SharingNet Invests, we talk about building wealth through knowledge, discipline, and smart decision-making. Because financial freedom does not happen by accident. It happens when you understand the systems around you and use them to your advantage. So the next time you swipe your card, I want you to pause for just a second and remember what is really happening behind that transaction. A bank is extending trust. You are making a promise, and your habits will determine whether that promise builds your future or burdens it. Thank you for spending these minutes with me. If you found value here, stay curious, stay disciplined, and keep investing in your financial education.